supporters and key cards there. Prizes are being placed out here now. 2 metal energies on the right-hand side there for Ufa. We're going to keep an eye out on those because they're needed to attack. There's only 3 in deck, so that could be massive for the rest of this matchup. But at the same time, when you're taking prizes, we double 2 Buddy Poffins, that Fan, Rotom, and Hoot Hoot, something you don't always see in Charizard EX decks, but our players are ready. Active Pokemons are in place. There's a handshake. We're kicking things off in this top 4A match here at the Stuttgart Regional Championships.
Yeah, and it's Nikolai that kicks us off here, just drawing that Pidgey. Not a bad Pokemon to top deck. Would have maybe rather the Buddy Poffin to go through the deck to maybe find something additional. And it's just a pass over to Ufa.
Yeah, not the best start, but does get the Pidgey down, as you mentioned. Ufa's going straight into the deck with that Nest Ball. We didn't really get a chance to Nikolai to go through what has been prized, but just whilst Ufa is going through the deck, Ben, why don't you run me through exactly how Gholdengo works?
So in your first initial turns, you want to be finding those Nest Balls and those Buddy Poffins to start getting set up. You are an evolving deck after all, but it's that Solrock and Lunatone, that new addition from our Mega Evolution set previous to Phantasmal Flames, that's really put Gholdengo on the map. You can remain with a single prize board while still taking prizes thanks to that Cosmic Beam Solrock. This is something that Ufe is going to be eyeing up, you'd imagine, this turn, if he can find a boss's orders or maybe a gusting option to knock out that Pidgey. And yeah, I mean, looking at the key features of the deck, there's so much draw, there's so much engine to this deck to find additional cards from your deck. You have the coin bonuses we've all known and loved in the past, but now it's that lunar cycle, and it's so synergistic. You get to discard energy, you know, it's abundance of energy, and there's the boss's orders for a Cosmic Beam knockout on the Pidgey. This is such a strong start for Ufe.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're giving Nikolai an opportunity to use Flip the Script here, as we do see, there you go, a card we don't often see in a Charizard deck, that Terrapagos EX, really sort of gleaming there on the bench. We do get an Iono instantly played as well. Of course, Nikolai, this is your second turn, so now can play supporters, couldn't play that Iono on his first turn, but we do have Flip the Script as well. So we're going to see 9 fresh new cards here as we just kind of get the final couple of cards from the Iono. So he's got the 6 in hand now. We are flipping the script, trying to turn up the tables on the head here. So we haven't yet seen any search cards from Nikolai's side. He hasn't even seen any Charmanders.
Does have a Hoot Hoot
right now. Does get one of his Hoot Hoots down, and we're in a position to have to pass again. Ufa, what else can we do here? Didn't get any Gimmighoul's down.
No, and it doesn't need to at this point. I think what he's going to be eyeing up is another boss's orders, possibly on the Hoot Hoots or the Pidgey at this point. You know, he's in a real advantageous position, despite the fact he does not have any Gimmighoul on the bench, because you're able to keep that one prize board state. I would like to think that Ufe is going to be prioritizing getting some Gimmighoul then this turn to start taking some 2 prize knockouts on his subsequent turns. And just going through the deck once more, the Earthen Vessel will find a metal energy and a fighting energy. Prioritizing that metal maybe for next turn. Like I said, you will want to be starting evolving into those Gholdengos after this turn. But I mean, finding boss here would be absolutely massive.
Yeah, does play the 3 copies of boss in his list. But with Lunar Cycle, we may be able to find a way to draw straight into it if we're able to discard that fighting energy and draw free. Got plenty of energies in hand now, but here we go. Lunar Cycle could be a massive 3 cards here. The coin just kind of countering that. There's a boss's orders.
Boss's orders. Just one of the gusting options that Ufe does play. Does also have the Prime Catcher as an option for gust as well. And there's the Hoot Hoot going down to a Cosmic Beam. And Ufe putting himself in the driving seat in this top 4 game.
Yeah, no Gimmighoul down now, but has taken a second prize, going really sort of prize mapping for the 2-2-2 as an opportunity here. Pidgey going into the ad spot. Instant return of the Pidgeot being evolved up with that rare candy there as well. And it's now just on Nikolai to try and really stem the flow. I mean, there's no Gimmighoul, so there's no real big threat if you can maybe take out this Solrock, because Ufa is going to still need to find those Gimmighouls at some stage to evolve up to the Gholdengos.
Yeah, you're putting his damage cap to only 70 with this Cosmic Beam. So no Gimmighoul on the bench will mean no big knockouts on any 2 prize Pokemon, as we've already established. But I still think Ufe is in a great position, despite that fact. He still has that single prize board state, and Nikolai's still not taking any prizes. But I would like to think he has to start putting the pressure down now. Another attachment to that Terrapagos. burst will put him in a position where he can start at least attacking and putting some damage on the board.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, we do get the Buddy Poffin for the selection of 2 Charmanders. We will need to use some of those big, tanky Charizard EX Pokemon to actually start swinging away at some stage, because that's where you're doing a lot of damage. Hoo also comes down. We do have the Area 0 Underdepths as well. So now with, of course, that Terrapagos EX in play, we can expand our bench up to 8, which is a great way of kind of being able to just prepare ourselves as we do eye up that Duskull as well. So we've fitted in so many different cards. Dawn also coming down. I haven't really even seen Dawn in any of the games I've casted.
This is a fantastic card in this deck because there are so many pieces that you have to put together. You're playing multiple stage 1s, you're playing multiple stage 2s, and Dawn really helps you keep up with that momentum in this match. At least you're able to search out cards like Hootoots for that Jewel Seeker. You're able to find really important basic Pokemon that unlocks a lot of your deck, like that Area 0 Underdepths and your multiple stage 2s, your Dusknoirs, your Pidgeot, your Charizard. This is the perfect deck for this card.
Yeah, it's actually a really nice way to unlock so many different pieces here. Looks like we've pissed up the Jet Energy as well. We're maneuvering the Terrapagos EX into the active spot. We're going to swing away at this Solrock. You know, Ufa's board isn't actually that set up right now, and he can't draw cards unless he finds another Solrock once again. And that hand hasn't been that strong. It's been a lot of energies. Does top deck the Artisan. That's a massive pickup here, because that's one way to get another Solrock into play. But we forgot, one Solrock is prized. One now knocked out in the discard. That's not going to be the easiest way to get anywhere at all. But first, let's finish off the action of once an Artisan comes into play, Nikolai does have to discard from his board state, going back down to 5 Pokemon on his board.
Yeah, I don't think he's necessarily going to be worried about taking any prizes this turn. He's already got those really important 2 prizes to put himself ahead of the prize race. Now it's just getting set up for those Gholdengos in the subsequent turns. He needs to start finding his Buddy Poffin. He needs to start finding maybe a Nest Ball for the Gimmighouls. Artisan is a great pickup, but there's still a lot to do for Ufe. He doesn't want to be in a position where Nikolai takes 2 more prizes at this point before Ufe gets anything sort of set up.
Yeah, it does get that Nest Ball for that Pheasantipity EX as well. We know it has that fantastic ability. Flip the script, allowing you to draw 3 cards when one of your Pokemon have been knocked out on your opponent's last turn. So this is another way for Ufa really to just kind of draw multiple cards on this current turn to really set up that board state, because right now, because he hasn't been able to get any Gimmighouls down on a first or second turn of the game and was really just swinging away with the Solrock, we really need to have this turn. That's so important to just get these Pokemon down. Hits another Gimmighouls, so does have 2 on the board state now, which is a fantastic pickup. Yeah,
that is a great draw there, finding the Gimmighoul without having to find any sort of Buddy Poffin. Oh, and there's the Professor's Turo picking up the Pheasantipity. I was just about to make the point that Nikolai would have loved to have seen that Pheasantipity come on boards to take an additional 2 prizes. Does top deck the boss's orders, can take 1 Gimmighoul out of the session right now. And over to Nikolai. What is he going to make here? He's going to opt to go through a Jewel Seeker, looking through his deck to find 2 trainer cards. As long as you have that terrestrialized Pokemon in play. Can't use Artisan this turn as well. He is bench locked at this point. So does he go for the Rare Candy Charizard at this point, or is he going to go for that Dusknoir?
I wonder which direction Nikolai's going to take. I mean, being able to effectively take 3 cards out of your deck of your choosing, of course, the Noctowl is limited to trainer cards. So any 2 trainer cards, so long as you have that terrestrial Pokemon in play, but then still has access to that Pidgeot EX's quick search as well. So let's see the direction that we're going down here. That Rare Candy looks like a pickup.
Now, something that just came to mind, this is going to be very dangerous at this point for Ufe. If he is able to find the Dusknoir, is going to be able to pop off on one of these Gimmigouls here. Does have the boss's orders in hand to be able to gust this second Gimmighoul here as well to remove any threat on the board for Nikolai. And this would be an absolutely massive play if he's able to pull it off here.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is going to be a big, big turn, because we know we that have that boss's orders already in hand can then just leave Ufa with just that Lunatone in the active spot. Again, we get the Area 0 Underdepths back online. Here we go. There's the Rare Candy Charizard straight up to use Infernal Rain now to power itself up with some fire energies onto itself right now. It does have that Burning Darkness attack, which we know and love and have seen for so long now. That ramps up as your opponent takes more prizes. There's a Charmeleon as well, really sort of protecting the board. Rare Candy, Dusknoir, Curse Blast online, Boss's orders.
This is a humongous play from Nikolai, with the fact that Ufei was unable to find any sort of extra outs to any Gimmighoul here. Nikolai, Curse Blast onto that Gimmighoul on the bench. Boss's orders, the additional one. This takes any problems that Nikolai may have had next turn, and leaving Ufei with no option to take 2 prizes next turn, because there are no options to get any Gholdengo on the field.
Yeah, this is looking pretty dicey here for Ufei right now. I mean, just has that, or just will end up with that Lunatone on the board with that fighting energy, as we do get a nice stretcher as well. Maybe just kind of semi-prepping either a Noctowl or maybe even another Duskull back once again, just to kind of prep it for any further threats that Ufei may try to utilize on the board state. There's the Noctowl. We know how important that was. It was knocked out previously by that Solrock's Cosmic Beam. This is turning into a fantastic turn there. There is an announcement. Terapagos EX with the knockout on the active. That Unified beatdown, dealing plenty of damage. And Ufei's just got a lot to do here in this scenario with just that Lunatone.
Yeah, this is a pretty sad state of affairs for Ufei now. I don't know which approach he takes at this point. With 2 Gimmighoul in the discard pile, he does have 2 in the deck. Has to prioritize getting some Buddy Poffin and perhaps some sort of recovery from the extra for the extra Gimmighoul in the discard pile. He's safe knowing that there are no Duskull on the field for Nikolai, so he won't be able to do any sort of Curse Blasts for any sort of additional damage on field. Yet does go for that Super Rod. You'd imagine those 2 Gimmighouls going straight back in the deck, maybe even a fighting energy as well as an extra out to Luna's Cycle.
Yeah, one of those things that Ufei could potentially try and do, and maybe why he's still playing it out as well, maybe if Nikolai misses a necessary knockout, if we could find a way to knock out that Noctowl that remains on the board right now. It has 70 HP. That's pretty simple for something like that Solrock to knock out with that Cosmic Beam, especially with that fighting energy that could be attached to it as well, with a Prime Catcher to gust it up. That could still put Ufei down to 2 prizes remaining and make it a little bit more difficult for Nikolai maybe to find a knockout for 3 prizes. But again, this is just some of the outs and percentages that you have to play for. So let's just see the direction we take on from here on out.
Yeah, like you said, if he is able to find some gust on this Hoot here, it puts himself only 2 prize cards away from taking the game. And the fact that Nikolai can no longer use any sort of Curse Blast, at least you're in a good position that way. But it still remains. Ufei still needs to find some Gimmighoul to put on the bench for a big 2 prize knockout.
Yeah, I know it's been a bit of a theme for us this weekend, and us drawing circles and many different various shapes. Someone's called out that was a nice citrus berry for you there, Ben, from that drawing. But we do get that fighting gong now, grabbing another fighting energy. Straight into the hand, of course, a fantastic inclusion for these decks that allow you to grab a basic fighting Pokemon or a fighting energy as instead. So it gives you kind of duality in terms of usage, which is really nice.
Yeah, it has to thin the deck out as much as possible at this point to try and find those outs. And here's the big Lunar Cycle, a huge 3 cards here from Ufei. What do you get? You got the Arven, that's useless. Gimmighoul, another fighting gong as well. I really, really doubt this Gimmighoul is going to be able to survive next turn. He needs the security to find another Pheasantipity coming down as well. At least you're safe knowing that any extra... There's the Buddy Poffin off the top as well. 2 Gimmighoul coming down, drew into 1 as well. At least he's leaving a board state with 3 on board. Using the Arven isn't ideal. You would have liked to boss his orders on that Hootoos, like we said. I'm unsure, actually, if he did have the Prime Catcher in hand. That would be really good right now.
That would be one way to kind of, again, push him down to 2. That would kind of leave an awkward scenario where you have the 2 prizes on your board state. It's just going to be a retreat here into the Solrock and a Cosmic Beam onto the active Terapagos. 70 damage, you know, it isn't affected by anything like resistance or weakness. So it's just the base 70 there, despite Terapagos being weak to fighting as well. We do get a Pidgeot, ooh, just kind of second guessing himself. Pidgeot Quick Search being utilized here, being able to cherry pick any card you like from the deck. So this is going to be quite an important pickup here. You know that Pheasantipity is kind of waiting on the back burner, on the bench there. We do get the second Charizard EX ready, up and running as well. So again, Infernal Rain gets 1 energy attachment. So only 1 energy is available there. But when you have access to Super Rods and Night Stretchers, you usually can get them back. So you have 2 big Pokemon swinging away when you need to.
Yeah,
has it in hand.
I'm going to retract the previous comments about knocking out the Hutu, because then that would enable Nikolai to do any sort of Briar plays, actually putting himself on 2 prize cards. So yeah, good hindsight there. And knocking out the Solrock with that Terrapagos Unified Beatdown, taking a well-earned knockout there, putting himself 2 prizes away from taking game. And with that Pheasantipity on board, it does leave Ufe with a problem on the board state. And here's a scoop, and Nikolai takes the first game in our top 4.
Yeah, fantastic display of this very unique take on Charizard EX there. We didn't see it in full flow because obviously we didn't see things like that fan Rotom being able to pick up the right pieces. We get a chance to see exactly what went down here. That Terrapagos was really kind of the main option to attack, using Unified Beatdown to really just wipe out the only attack or only threat in play from Ufe's side of the board. And it was this particular turn, once we were able to establish our Duskulls and the Charizard EX just kind of ready as well with Infernal Rain, but we also had that rare candy into the Dusknoir. We had that Curse Blast ready to go. Boss's orders on one of the Gimmighoulls, Curse Blast on the other. Doesn't matter if I'm giving a prize to you, I'm taking out both your potential threats. And from then onwards, it was just a full-on steam train straight through Ufe's board state.
Ufe really needs to keep up with the prize race, right? That's the way that Gholdengo is able to keep up with these sorts of builds. But for Nikolai, you know, showing off the strength of this deck, it's so sequence heavy. But if you're able to find those pieces, you know, you are just going to be able to steamroll, like you rightly said, over your opponents, regardless of what they're playing. Because you play the Noctowl, because you play the Pidgeot, you unlock so much potential with such a big range of cards in our format.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is what makes this take a little bit more unique as we get a chance to have a glimpse of the prizes now. Again, nothing too crazy from Ufe's side. You know, a couple of those nest balls, useful to get pieces like those Solrock Lunatones, like the Genesect, and then on Nikolai's side as well, also a couple of those nest balls there. Pheasantipity, we know how important that was. We do kick things off. This is game 2 of our top 4A match here. Looks like Nikolai starting us off. He opens that Fan Rotom, so we'll be able to use Fan Call on that first turn, which is probably exactly what you're after when you're piloting this deck.
Boy, what a start from Nikolai there. Not only starting with that Fan Rotom, with that Fan Call ability, but also having the Buddy Popping in hand to find those crucial Charmander and Duskull if he needs to. And, you know, being that, you know that Ufe is going to be going for that Cosmic Beam turn 1 to settle a 1 prize board state. So you feel pretty safe with only 1 Charmander on board. You have multiple Pokemon that can attack in, you know, comparison to your average Charizard deck with cards like Terrapagos EX. Yeah, I mean, you know, this is a great start from Nikolai.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's just double checking all those prizes. We didn't really get a chance to run through Charizard EX before. You know, we've mentioned the attack, we mentioned the ability already, how powerful Infernal Rain and Burning Darkness is. And of course, comboed usually just with that Pidgeot EX's quick search ability. But this take from Nikolai and a few others, I should say, with that Fan Rotom, with the Terrapagos EX, with the Noctowl package, and a Finn Dusknoir package as well, kind of gives you so many different means to dealing with multiple different board states. So you are very kind of reactionary to what your opponent is doing and playing. But it works perfectly. Here's the Fan Call, for example, how it all synergizes together, because it allows you to grab 3 colorless Pokemon with 100 HP or less, grabbing you that Hoot, grabbing you that Pidgey, grabbing you the Noctowl for the next turn. The only thing we're going to need on the next turn to use the Jewel Seeker ability is a terrestrial Pokemon, which I'm sure there's going to be a way to do so. But over to Ufe after a pass. There comes a Buddy Poffin, which was exactly the card he's been missing from that game 1.
Yeah, this is a much better start for Ufe, going to find those Gimmighoulls instantly with that Buddy Poffin. A much better setup than he had in that last game. You know, he's going to have to keep up with Nikolai's board state at this point, but at least there is so many different options to take prizes with that Cosmic Beam at this point. Maybe a Boss's Orders on that Pidgey, or maybe even that Hootoos, knowing that that is the main engine of this deck would be really fantastic. Ufe does play a plethora of gusting options, as well as that prime catcher of choice, as the ace spec of choice in this Gholdengo list. Not a card that we see often. Usually we're seeing either the Precious Trolley or the Secret Box, and with that Fighting Gong is able to find the Lunatone and a Fighting Energy. This is a great start.
I think there might be even a nest ball in hand as well. Yep, there you go. So that's way we're going to just get a full board of those single prizes once again, as we've kind of mentioned, but having the multiple sort of Fighting Gong did allow him to get the energy also into hand. So he can decide now whether he wants to start swinging away with Cosmic Beam. If we have 2 Fighting Energy, that'll be perfect, because then we can use one of them for Lunar Cycle as well, just to kind of really get your game going and start drawing through your deck. That's typically what Gholdengo EX wants to do. I mean, we didn't even see it really. The last one, he does have 2 Fighting Energies there. Lunar Cycle for an additional 3 cards.
There's
That's fantastic.
the boss's orders.
Oh, hello, what a pickup there with the Gholdengo EX for future turns as well. There's a Fighting Energy attachment. Will we see the boss's orders hit? No, it's just
no, just go with the knockout.
Yep, they're just a knockout for now. Cosmic Beam knocking out that fan Rotom. Pidgey into the active spot now. This is where it could be a little bit tricky. Nikolai does need to find that terrestrial Pokemon. Do we have any way to get it into hand right now?
He did pick up... Oh, no.
He's got is it Rare Candy Pidgey already in hand? So it's not really too much of a problem. He could then go grab something like a Nest Ball with that quick search, get Terrapagos EX, get that Noctowl live with Jewel Seeker. That's one way to go about things. Or will he take a bit of a more slower, measured approach? This is going to be real interesting to work out and see.
I'm keen to understand why Uwe didn't go for the boss on that last play. I mean, taking out there's so many different good options that he could have knocked out there. You know, knocking out the Pidgey would have been good to at least mitigate any sort of upcoming engine, as well as the Hoothoot as well. Disabling Nikolai from using any Jewel Seeker this turn, and the Charmander as well is the only attacker that he has on board. It's the only acceleration he has as an option to start taking some prizes. So, you know, keeping it in hand and reserving it from a different time, but I'm unsure what that time is. I don't know when would be best to keep that boss's orders in this circumstance.
Yep, there comes the Terrapagos there. Oh, just got a little bit of information on the screen for everyone as well. In the other top 8 match that is still ongoing, following Christian coming through that asymmetrical top cut. Is currently 1-0 with his Dragapult Dusknoir deck up against Irvin's Charizard deck. He knows that's not necessarily a matchup we always want to see, but if there's going to be one Charizard player who can maybe turn it around, it will be Irvin. But yes, right now in that top 8 match, Christian is 1 game up against Irvin.
Yeah, and I still keep going back to this boss play. It just keeps running through my mind at this point, because with the fact that Nikolai has the Duskull and the Charmander on board, he gives himself the option of taking out 2 of these gimme goals as he'd had in the last turn, if he's able to find the pieces. 1 Gust, 1 Rare Candy into Dusknoir would be fantastic for Nikolai, and Uwe just kind of let it happen at this point.
Well, yeah, we're going to see exactly the direction we're going down, as we do see the Rare Candy for that Charizard straight up to allow Infernal Rain to come raining down with his own fire energies, and then being able to swing away for massive damage with that Burning Darkness. Right now, at a base 180 plus 30, because Uwe has taken a prize, will be dealing 210 damage. No key targets at the moment. Area 0 Underdesk has also come into play, allowing Nikolai to expend and kind of grow that board to 8 now, that bench board that's kind of remaining there. Gets another Hoot down, which is so vital. Another Charmander is another key piece. Another cool inclusion is that newer Phantasmal Flames Charmander, which has that fantastic agile ability. If it has no energy attached, it has no retreat cost, which is kind of cool as well. Not something you'd see too often, because you want to be using those 70 HP Charmanders, but here comes the Charizard EX in the active spot, Ben.
Yeah, and at least Uwe is safe knowing that a single prize is taken at this point. If he's able to find a response knockout on this Charizard, this would put him in a much, much better position. Good thing for Nikolai was able to find the Charmander on board. It is his only acceleration to get energy on the board and to start attacking. But I mean, look at Nikolai's board state. It's so intimidating, isn't it? I mean, look at the amount of options he has to him. The Hoothoot, you know, we look at the Noctowl anyway, don't we, with the Jewel Seeker ability and the Quick Search. It opens up so many different options for him, despite, you know, whatever your opponent's doing.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's so many pieces that can happen here. But one thing we have to keep an eye out for, this isn't your typical Charizard EX deck. You can potentially end up with 3 cherry-picked cards of your own because of that Noctowl, because of the Pidgeot EX. And then when you're already accelerating energy, maybe you're not even that far from finding a way to evolve up to that Dusknoir. We spoke about that combo earlier with Dusknoirs into Briars and into sort of Orchid, big, massive knockouts. Maybe that's one direction. But for the moment, here comes a coin bonus. 2 cards already gone. There's the Nest Ball coming down as well, which is going to be maybe getting another Soul Rock so we can continue drawing more cards through the deck. We have Pheasantipity down as well, so we have that option as an additional flip the script draw. Here comes the Fighting Gong, Fighting Energy also to hand now, so Lunar Cycle is available at the same time. So many card draws just from one single turn.
This really is the kickoff turn for Ufe. As we've always said, you like to keep a single prize board, but look at the 2 prizes that Ufe's put on board at this point. He's put the 2 Gholdengo down, he's put the Pheasantipity down. This confirms he is safe. He is safe knowing that if he can find the knockout on this Charizard, at least he puts himself 2 prizes up in this game. He feels confident at this point that this is the turn. This is the point I find that big knockout and swing the game in my favor.
Yeah, love those potato drawings there from Benjamin. But we're seeing some more pairs, are they? See some more draw from the flip the script. Have we picked up enough pieces to take a massive knockout here? Remember, Make It Rain is 50 times the number of energies you discard from your hand. More coin bonus, first of all, superior energy retrieval hit from the and a prime catcher.
Yeah,
Could make things real interesting if we can find a way to utilize that at some stage as well. Double checking how many energies are in that discard pile for himself, just in case he needs to use that superior energy retrieval. Does already have a couple in hand, it looks like, but no metal energy yet. 3 fighting energy in the discard pile. Does that mean we're not going to get an attack off? That could be massive if we're not able to swing away here and really just continue to apply so much pressure to his opponent's board. There's a Fighting Gong now. It's just going to be another fighting energy being grabbed, it looks like, but I can't see a metal energy there, Ben.
No, this will be really heartbreaking if Ufe isn't able to find any sort of attack at this point, because he's already committed the retreat into another Gholdengo, which is, as we know, a 2 prize Pokemon. And if Nikolai is able to find maybe a boss's orders for that Pheasantipity on the bench, you'd imagine looking at that board stage with the Pidgeot, with the Hoot Hoot already prepped and ready, is going to be able to find some sort of gusting option to put himself 3 prizes ahead in the race. So yeah, if Ufe, this is the turn, like I said, this is where Ufe's kicked off. This is his kickoff turn. Oh no,
that's telling. That's a big tell. When you get the attachment onto the Soul Rock, it does just mean that you're telepathing that knockout. But he is targeting down the Duskull, so I quite like this as well, limiting what sort of Nikolai could do and manipulate the prize cards with a Cosmic Beam on that Duskull there, at least continuing his sort of 2-2-2 prize map for the moment. But the scary thing is, if he does eventually unlock Nikolai's Briar without really Nikolai doing too much, but just by going down to 2 prizes, that could be another factor that we'll see shortly as well. But over to Nikolai, let's see how you're going to handle this turn.
Yeah, like you mentioned there, the Briar play is going to be the key factor at this point, with Ufe taking those 2 prizes, taking that 1 prize instead of a 2 prize Pokemon. And for Nikolai now, no Dusknoir going to be an option for him either. 3 cards from Flip the Script. I think I saw the Prime Catcher there.
You did. We saw a Prime Catcher, so that could be a nice pick. Easy sort of choice to try and target down another 2 prizer like that Pheasantipity, which is in range of a Burning Darkness now dealing a base 240 damage.
Yes.
Because 2 prizes have been taken, so that could be an easy 2 prizer there. And then just manipulating yourself in a way where you could find yourself able to utilize something like that Briar, do that legalized cheating kind of thing, where you're taking additional prizes just from a knockout. And that's one way to kind of navigate this game, as we do get the Charmeleon coming down, the Quick Search now being utilized as well. Those 2 Noctowls are a massive threat just because of how great of a support card they can be with so many sort of terrestrial Pokemon currently in play as well. Just cherry-picked a card there. Couldn't quite see exactly what that was. I'm not too sure if you got a glimpse of that, Ben.
Nope. Didn't see that, sorry. Does have boss's orders and Prime Catcher,
Might have been
another
Charizard
and the Noctowl in hand. This is pretty good
Ooh,
for
boss's
Nikolai.
orders just for now as well. Maybe that's just an easier way without having to expend the prime catcher. There you go. That's the big target on its back right now. That Pheasantipity with enough damage that you're dealing with that Burning Darkness. You're going to be swinging away, taking 2 prizes. Burning Darkness announced down to 3 prize cards remaining. 3 prize cards away from making the final here at the Stuttgart Regional Championships. Ufe is going to need to find some massive knockouts and also some way to just stem the flow a little bit here.
I'm unsure I can see any way out for Ufe at this point. Nikolai has the Duskull already prepped on the bench, and Ufe's in no position to take that knockout. 1 prize isn't going to help you at all at this point. And with already a Charmeleon on the bench, he has another Pokemon he can take knockout with, despite the fact that already another Charizard in the active as well. For Ufe, this is pretty difficult as a board state can be. I think last turn was really where he had to gain momentum in this game, and unfortunately missing that. This is... I don't know if he can recognize or even identify a way forward in this game.
But you're going to have to play to your outs right here, right now. He's used the Artisan, which does impact Nikolai's board. He does lose the Pheasantipity and a Hoot there as well. He's kept the Duskull. Took a bit of a moment to make that decision because it's such an important scenario to be in, because utilizing Curse Blast from either the Dusclops or the Duskull can be so pivotal in trying to make your prize mapping work. But then this is what the board state he's left himself with that Pidgeot, with that Hoot, with that Duskull right now, as we do see a superior energy retrieval from Ufe. We do see a Lunar Cycle. Can we find the Metal Energy? We hit the Earthen Vessel, so at least we're going to be swinging away with a Gholdengo EX right here, right now as well. But then it's just whether we find enough energy cards to take a knockout.
I think his only option at this point is to try and mitigate the play with the Duskmar to take a knockout on one of the single prizes and then take an additional 2 on one of these Gholdengos. I think Ufe really needs to prioritize this Pidgeot EX right here, only because it limits any potential plays here. With that quick search ability, we know how strong it is to be able to find those final pieces. Nikolai still needs Rare Candy. He still needs the Duskmar. So at least taking out that Pidgeot, you're lowering the chances, if not just a little bit.
I just saw 3 random circles on the screen there, Ben.
Right, I'm going to draw on your face in a minute.
Right. I mean, it was just all over the place. Anyway, but yeah, I think you're right. It is important to try and maybe take down that Pidgeot. We know we have... Oh, no, we used the Prime Catcher, didn't we?
We've used the Prime Catcher, so it's only boss's orders that are going to be an option. So finding those energy cards are just going to be made that a little bit more difficult. No supporters to find any sort of extra energy, but at least drawing into those earthen vessels this turn will be beneficial to try and find additional, of course.
We did get that one-off Dark Energy, utilized just for that Monkey Dory that Ufe plays, as we do see a coin bonus for 1 additional card there as well. What do we get? It looks like Arven.
Yeah.
So that's probably not going to help from this scenario. Do we get something like that boss's orders?
I feel like you have to play the boss's orders here. You're
do we have one?
Yeah, we definitely have the boss's orders.
Fine,
yeah.
fine. I'll believe
or maybe
you.
Going for the Arven. I mean, I'd go for the boss's orders. I mean,
if there is one.
Yeah. No, the boss's orders is there.
Okay, there you go.
I was right.
So he was just picking the Arven to be discarded, just to get those energies. Yeah, I think you have to go for the Pidgeot. Like you said, just to limit any sort of chance that Nikolai might have, just to cherry pick what he would like. Yeah, that boss's orders is being eyed up right now. We'll need 6 energy cards, but can only target down the Terrapagos. Maybe only has access to 5 energy cards in his hand.
At least with this Terrapagos, you're not...
Oh, just choosing. Maybe not even to knock it out for the moment.
Didn't have enough energy?
I think there was one more there, but... yeah, this is kind of an interesting decision here with 200 damage. There was one more energy in hand, but maybe just trying to trap the Terrapagos for the moment.
I would have thought so. I mean, if you're not going to be able to find knockout this turn, I guess this is the best option to you. Terrapagos with a 2 energy requirement to get to retreat out of the active, but does play quite a lot of jet energy, I will say, Nikolai. But I'm really unsure for Ufe at this point. And here comes the quick search. Rare Candy, Dust Noir, and with this jet energy, we'll be able to find game at this point if he does already have it in hand. The Dust Noir being popped off on one of either the Lunatone or the Solrock. You see here, There's a smaller HP Pokemon here, 110 HP, will be within range of the Curse Blast, putting Nikolai only 2 prize cards away, with this Gholdengo already in the active, making it susceptible to a Burning Darkness for game.
Yeah, absolutely. We get the Noctowl right now, being able to cherry pick 2 pieces, does pick up the rare candy, so it looks like we're going in that direction. Can choose either or, that's Solrock or Lunatone. There comes an Ultra Ball as well, but I think we already have the Dustwa in hand. Rare candy, Dustwa, Curse Blast is live. Prime Catcher available as well on any of the Gholdengos, and I think that should be more than enough when you're giving away a prize from the Curse Blast as well. Your opponent then has taken 3 prize cards, plus 90 plus your 180, you're dealing 270. There's Curse Blast on the Solrock. That's a massive knockout. Down to 2 prizes remaining, and it's just a Burning Darkness. He just needs to announce it. There it is. Burning Darkness, 270 damage. Handshake. Nikolai makes it all the way to your final here at the Stuttgart Regional Championships.
What a dominant display from Nikolai, really showing the power of the engines that he has